Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello friends, I welcome you all to this 5th lecture of the course. In the next half an hour or so, we will discuss about the composition, nutritional and health value of plantation crops. The concept that is covered in this lecture is the classification, market, composition and health value of major plantation crop products like tea, coffee, cocoa, coconut, cashew. Let us see one by one, like tea, which is a Camellia sinensis. This is the second cheapest beverage in the world next to water. About 2/3 of the world population consumes tea. As you can see here in the figure, the trees are evergreen shrub or tree. There are about 45 species of tea are grown in the world, in which Camellia sinensis is the best one. China, India, Kenya, Sri Lanka, Turkey are the top 5 tea producing countries of the world. Cultivated leaves are of two types, Indian type, which is a slow growing and large leaf, you can see in the figure, and Chinese type is a fast growing and small leaf. Okay. Indian teas have higher yield than the Chinese type. In India, these bushes are pruned regularly in order to encourage more and more leaf production. In India, about 5-6 pluckings are made in a season, that is the top terminal bud and top terminal 2 or 3 leaves are they plucked, and then this is processed. Of course, for processing we will have a separate lecture in the maybe in the 8th week. Here now let us see production and classification of the tea. The global tea market revenue in 2020 was $186.6 billion, where India ranked 3rd with about $15.8 billion. India is the second largest producer of tea with a production of 1.2 billion kg tea in 2021, and consumption was about 1.1 billion kg. Total export stood at $826.47 billion in financial year 20. Okay. The India makes different types of tea, and there are different tea products depending on the manner in which they are processed. These are the fermented, that is black tea, or semi fermented, oolong tea, unfermented green tea. That is how they are made. We will take up separately in the 8th week a separate lecture on the processing of cocoa or other products, plantation crop products will be undertaken. So, major tea brands in India includes Red Label, Wagh Bakri, Lipton, Taj Mahal, then Tata Tea and so on. Here the data shows in this figure that is, you can see that it is increasing the trend in the $1 million values, that is the export of revenue generated by the tea export. Okay. Composition and health value of tea, that is tea consists of various compounds, both water soluble as well as water insoluble compounds. That is major components present in the tea leaf include caffeine, which provides energy or it provides the stimulating action, polyphenols which help in digestion, diabetic, weight management and cardiovascular diseases. It also contains many essential oils which provides aroma and flavor. The chemical composition of green tea leaves and processed tea shoots, it has polyphenol about 35-37%, carbohydrate 25%, protein 15%, IS5 and caffeine 3.5%. That in this value, that is figure we have seen, that is health value of the tea, that is the tea, both green tea as well as black tea, they are involved, that is they are remedy for various diseases, like they prevent diabetes, they prevent eye disease, they reduce cholesterol levels, that is they improve bone density, weight loss, lower blood pressure, cancer prevention, protect heart health, improve memory, improve dental health and what not. So, that these tea are this, again they are saying they are good for health promoting. Only negative effect of the tea is insomnia. Okay. Coffee is the again third most popular beverage in the world, next to water and tea. It is coffee is a evergreen shrub or a small tree. It is indigenous to Central Africa and Asia. Three major varieties of coffee are there, that is Cassava Arabica, Cassava Robusta and Cassava Liberica. So, this Cassava Arabica and Cassava Robusta. Cassava Robusta is also sometimes known as Cassava Canephora. These are almost supply the world largest part of the world consumption of the coffee. Okay. So, Cassava Robusta versus Cassava Arabica, if you have a comparison, so Cassava Arabica is the largest and best quality beans, Cassava Robusta gives comparatively inferior or lower quality beans than that compared to the Cassava Arabica. Cassava Arabica has the milder and more aromatic and flavorful brew. Cassava Robusta gives thick and strong decoction, and because it gives thick and strong decoction, it is liked most in India. That is, in the Cassava Arabica yield is low, but in the Cassava Robusta yield is approximately double to that of Cassava Arabica variety. That the Cassava Arabica is indigenous to Ethiopia and was introduced to India through Arabia. That is, the Cassava Robusta is produced in India due to lower elevation. The Cassava Arabica grows at higher altitude, maybe 600 to 2000 meter. Cassava Robusta is low, even it can be grown at a comparatively lower altitude from sea level 600 meter or so. That is, Cassava Arabica has delicate and vulnerable to pest, and the Cassava Robusta is a longer living and disease resistant variety. So, in India it is the Cassava Robusta has found much flavor. So, you see here in this figure I have shown you the structure of coffee cherry. In the coffee plant, when the coffee cherry it is when it ripe, it the deep red, in some are deep orange in some plant species. Okay, the coffee cherry, it is a furrow, and if you see a cross section of the coffee cherry, you will find, you can see in this figure that it is shown, that is it has that is a bean, it has inside two flattened beans, that coffee cherry, it outer is the husk or peel, and it has two flattened beans inside, and these beans actually are valuable source of the coffee beverage that we consume. Okay. Internal structure, if you see, that is these beans, they are covered by that silver skin, that is testa epidermis, parchment, which is hull, pericarp, then a pectin layer, finally pulp, mesocarp, and the outer skin, pericarp or exocarp. So, actually, as I told you, these are the beans or seed are the valuable source of the coffee. So, in the processing, all the except this seed, you see here in this figure, the seed, the remaining thing, pulp, skin, etc., parchment, all these things are removed. How they are removed, that we will take up separately in the processing chapter. As far as the market statistics of coffee is concerned, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu are the major producers of coffee in India. India is the 5th largest producer and 6th largest exporter of the coffee in the world. Country accounts for 3.14% of the global coffee production. Coffee production during 2021 is 3,42,000 million tons. Total coffee export stood at $719.5 million in financial year 2021. But only 30% of the coffee is consumed domestically. The three major brands of coffee in India are Nescafe, Brew or Tata Coffee. Okay. Composition and health value of the coffee in this table I have given, that is the percentage on dry basis, both the Caffea Arabica as well as Caffea Robusta, the caffeine content, sugar, polysaccharide, okay, that is, these value are given. They have about polysaccharide around 44 to 48%, protein about 11% in both, lipid they have 16 to 10%, and both of them have good amount. About one Caffea Arabica has 1.2% caffeine and Caffea Robusta has a higher caffeine 2.2, and that is why this Caffea Robusta, because it has higher caffeine content, it gives a strong decoction, and this is likewise this has a good stimulating action. Health value of the coffee, if you see, it have a good energy value, it improves memory, relieves headache, prevents Parkinson disease, protects liver, reduces diabetes, reduces cancer, reduces heart diseases, burns fat and what not. So, again this is a storehouse for various medicines or agent, health promoting bioactive agents. Now, cocoa, that is Theobroma cacao, that is, it is the tree. Cocoa is the dried and partially fermented fatty seed of the cacao tree from which the chocolate is made, and you can see here that in the cacao tree, it is a long tree, in the branches directly on the main trunk and directly on the branches that flowers appear, and this flower is finally converted into fruit, that is the cocoa fruit. So, this cacao tree is a small tree to American tropics, now grown in all tropical regions of the world. These pods, which is the cocoa pods, they are 10 to 18 centimeter in diameter, having thick leathery rind inside, all right, which and this contains about 20 to 50 beans. They are arranged inside in the rows, and these beans, as you can see here, they are embedded in white or pinkish pulp. Okay. And again, that these are processed in a particular way. This is the beans or the seeds which are there inside the cocoa pod. They are the valuable source of chocolate and cocoa butter. So, we will take up separately the processing part. Chief cocoa producing countries in the world are Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast and Brazil, Kerala, Karnataka and to some extent Tamil Nadu, that is 3 southern states, they produce cocoa in India. Cocoa is classified, that is, there are 3 important varieties of cocoa exist, that is Criollo, Forastero and Trinitaro. Criollo trees are the most aromatic but highly sensitive to climate, resulting in lower yield, that is Forastero trees are disease resistant and have higher productivity, thus around 90% of the world's product is made from these trees. The major disadvantage of Forastero trees are its lower organoleptic properties. Okay. Then Trinitario is the crossbred of these two, Criollo and Forastero. Okay. Market statistics of cocoa, you can see that is West Africa produces 70% of the world cocoa market. Cote d'Ivoire is the biggest producer of cocoa beans in the world, producing over 2 million tons, 40 millions of which is exported. Indonesia is the only one of the top 5 Asian countries, accounting for 0.66 million tons of cocoa in 2020. So, among the Asian countries, I think Indonesia ranks 3rd. India ranked 16th in the cocoa production in 2021 with a production of about 27,072 tons. India earns foreign exchange worth 1100 crore through export of cocoa beans and its product. The demand of chocolate industry and confectionery in India is 50,000 metric tons of dry beans per annum. As far as the composition and health value of cocoa is concerned, it is a good source of theobromine. Theobromine acts in similar way as caffeine to enhance energy level and to dilate blood vessels. The percentage moisture, fat, protein, carbohydrate as of the both unfermented and fermented cocoa beans are provided in the table. And one thing is very interesting to note, that is this cocoa, it has about 55% both, that is the fat content, and which is a very good quality valuable, that is the cocoa butter, This cocoa butter, because of its special properties, we will take up separately when we discuss processing, that because of its eating characteristics, its melting characteristics, it melts at room temperature, melts in the mouth. So, it has got a wide ranging use in various confectionery products or even savory products or like ice cream, desserts, etc. Okay. The health value of the cocoa include that is improves mood, balances blood sugar, prevents cancer, it is used as an antidepressant, improves brain function, it is good for heart, lowers cholesterol, and it has a good effect on lowering down the blood pressure or maintaining the proper blood pressure. Then coconut, it is Cocoa nocifera. Coconut is an edible fruit originated somewhere in Indo-Malaya and is one of the most important crop of the tropics. Coconut flesh is high in fat and can be eaten fresh or dried or processed into a variety of value added products from milk to oil. Coconut generally requires 70 to 80% humidity for optimum growth. A single coconut palm can produce 100 coconuts annually, and each fruit required a year to mature. The Sanskrit name of coconut is Kalpavriksha, which means the tree what provides all the necessities of life. So far around 360 uses of coconut are reported in the literature. Okay. The coconut is classified into three major categories like tall cultivars, dwarf cultivars and hybrid cultivars. Tall cultivars, they have about 60 years lifespans, they are around 15 to 18 meter height. Dwarf cultivars have 40 years lifespan and are about 5 to 7 meter high. Tall cultivars produce higher quality and good quality oil. Commonly grown tall cultivars in India are West Coast tall, East Coast tall, Tiptur tall and so on. Dwarf cultivars have thin and leathery copra and is low in oil content. The common dwarf cultivars in India are Cowghat orange dwarf, Gowghat green dwarf, Ganga Badam green dwarf and so on. Hybrid cultivars, they show earliness in flowering, have higher oil content and which is give a better quality oil and the other products. Market statistics of coconut, India ranks second in the global production of coconut in the year 2020 with a production of 14.7 million metric tons. The production of coconut in the country stood at 21,207 million tons during 2020, which is 34% of the global production. The countries with the highest volume of coconut consumption in 2018 were Indonesia, Philippines which consumed 14 million tons, India consumes 12 metric tons MT with a combined 72% share of the global consumption. Okay. And here it gives that the value that the global production of 2020, that is Indonesia, you can see is a major producer. Okay. As far as the composition and health value of coconut is concerned, in this table I have given the nutritive value of coconut per 100 gram of the edible portion. It contains energy around 354 kilocalorie energy it gives per 100 gram. It has around 81% moisture, 30% fat, it has about 4.5% protein, carbohydrate also it has around 15-16% and it has a good quantity of fiber, that is 9% highly fibrous materials. Okay. Iron and calcium also are good. Health value includes it prevents heart disease, it enhances memory, strengthens immune system, improves digestion, it improves the moisture and hair and keeps our skin moist, and also this hair it is good, it maintains a good health of the hair and it balances blood sugar. So, this also has a good health value. Now, cashew, that is Anarcadium accidental, it is a evergreen shrub or tree of the sumac family. You can see here in the picture cashew, that is the curved seeds are known as the cashew nuts, cultivated mainly in Brazil and India. The cashew tree produces a soft, shiny and juicy fruit known as cashew apple, which you can see here in this picture. Okay. And then this cashew apple actually is plucked from the plant and it is processed, that is particularly dried, and inside the seed is there, which is a valuable material that is obtained. Okay. The cashew apple is processed into juice, jelly, jam, syrup, etc. The cashew nut is the most valued product and is commonly consumed as snack or used in confectionery items or in cooking in various products. Market statistics of cashew: in 2020, 4.18 million metric tons of cashew nuts were produced globally. India ranked second in the cashew production in the world, next to Ivory Coast. Maharashtra is the leading state in the country in cashew production. Cashew nut production reached around 43,000 tons in 2019 in India, according to the FAO state. In the year financial year 20, the total cashew export was to the tune of $566.82 million. The country accounts for about 65% of the world's total exports of the cashew. The cashew companies in India are Arabica, and these are the three major companies you can see in the figure. The composition and health value of cashew: the 100 gram of the cashew nut contains about 785 kilocalories, very high energy value it contains. It has about 5 to 6% moisture, 64% fat, 24% protein, about 41% carbohydrate, or okay, that 1.3% fiber. So, this is the nutritive value of 100 gram of the cashew. Health value, you see, again like other coconut, other plantation crop products, here also it also has a huge, very good, it helps in maintaining healthy bones, healthy nerves, it prevents gallstones, it is high in vitamins, it maintains healthy gums and teeth, it gives a pleasant sleep, okay. It lowers blood pressure, high blood pressure, maintains blood pressure, it gives free radical, helps hair improvement in the hair and shining hair, it is maintains healthy heart, helps in digestion, it acts as antioxidants, help in weight loss, etc. So, it again has a very good health values. Okay. So, these were the some of the key statistics or health and nutritional value of the major plantation crop that are produced in the country. Now, let us talk about issues and challenges facing the plantation crop industry. That is the major problem faced in almost all plantation crop sectors are the similar, whether it is the tea industry or coconut or cashew or apple, and one of the biggest challenge is the mechanization during harvesting. Okay. That is the harvesting process, and if that is, of course, now there is a need and are working some if robots, etc., particularly for the cocoa, you see that is the cocoa, they have a very high tree, and then to pluck the cocoa from the biggest tree we need some specific setups, etc. Similarly, from the coffee cherry, you see that coffee cherry in the small shrub, that is there are some in the same bunch, some coffee will ripe, some will remain green. So, it becomes a challenge that how to pick up from that, how choose only pick up only the ripe, because if you the method at present, the mechanical method which are used are generally which is manual method, they are done manually because they have to choose up only the ripe. So, if there are some systems are developed that will be really, that is very beneficial in the plantation crop industry, that mechanize the and pick up and choose which are the ripe and the ripe stage of maturity, these products, and that should be picked up. Okay. Then there is a shortage of labor, less wages, welfare programs for laborers are the other major issues. Then lack of policy push by the government in cashew processing industry, and unorganized supply chain and vulnerability in the pricing in the coconut. These are the other major issues in the industry. Okay. Then incidents of pest and diseases is another major concern particularly, but because if you see the tea, the tea leaves etc., although these leaves they are contain the good amount of polyphenols etc., but they are susceptible to diseases, and many a time there is pest control. If they are sprayed, then their residue will remain in the leaf, and that may create problem when the leaves are dry etc. So, this is the insect that is how that the insects and other diseases in the major crops are controlled. There should be a proper measures, effective measures, that is which does not leave the insecticide or pesticide residue etc. That is. So, with many challenges, of course, comes many opportunities also in this sector. Okay, that these opportunities and market potential, as I told you, it is a plantation crop product. This sector is export oriented, accounting for 75% of the total earning from the export of horticultural produce. Okay. And the commodity that is itself, that is a CAGR, if you see that which tea is expected to grow at a CAGR of 6.6%, coffee at 4.28% CAGR, cocoa at a 5.48% CAGR, coconut highest 13.6%, and cashew 4.6% CAGR. So, this itself shows that yes, that is this crop, this coconut or other plantation crop, they are considered as a cash crop, and there is a big potential, big market and generation. But of course, there are certain issues which need to be, there are issues related to their processing, issues related to their handling, because even coconut you see, for example, that is coconut, when we take it has a very hard covering, usable portion is inside. So, it again becomes some problem, and of course, recently there are some machines etc. developed, but otherwise they have to manually cut and remove the outer coverage. So, that again it boosts the industry. So, suitable not only for the pre-harvest or harvest, but also in the processing. Many of these, similarly the cashew, that inside it is the outer that is in the cashew apple, outer the it contains cashew oil, which is a very very pungent oil, and it is even very harsh in taste, and it is very strong. Okay. So, it is removable, that is drying and all those. So, they require a special skill. All these products they require a special skill, special types of technologies for their processing, and getting the products and processing technologies should be such, so that the actual value, their health value and other components which are present in them, that are retained, and this we will take up separately when we discuss on the processing of these spices and our plantation crop products. Okay. So, with this I will summarize this lecture, that is India is the second largest producer with 1.2 billion kg, and the largest consumer 1.1 billion kg of the tea in the world. Coffee Arabica and Coffee Robusta are the most common varieties. However, due to lower elevation and it is being a disease resistant variety, Robusta is the mostly grown in India, and its decoction also has found favor in the Indian market. Chocolate industry demand in India is 50,000 metric tons, and of course, India also produces good amount of significant amount of cocoa, and this cocoa which is further processed into beverage and chocolate and butter. India is one of the leading producer and exporter, consumer of the coconut. Plantation crop finally are the major export revenue generator in the agricultural produce. These are the references which I have used, and finally, thank you all.